Hi everyone, thanks for taking time out to find out a bit more about the All the Allowances Syndicate that I mentioned on Twitter earlier this week. So what is All the Allowances Syndicate? Well, through my sort of horrible word journey through Twitter racing, sort of using SBK punditry and some writing for racing TV, it's become very apparent to me that the content, the tweets that gets most interaction are those centered around education. And I think the key to enjoying any sport is a knowledge and an in-depth knowledge of that sport. So the All Allowances Syndicate is largely going to be centered around that. Many of you know that alongside my punditry work for SBK and Racing TV, I also do a lot of coaching in the sports horse field. I was a former eventer to a pretty decent level before injury put paid to that. Not in relation to my inadequacies, I promise. And I do a lot of coaching actually out in the Czech Republic, part of which has sort of been working with ex-racehorses in the Czech Republic and retraining them for sports away from racing, and a couple where we've worked on their jumping for them to indeed go back racing in the Czech Republic and in France. And it sort of has appeared to me that these Czech horses, perhaps because of the condition they're kept in, fairly cold in the winter, they tend to be very tough physically and very resilient mentally. So All the Allowances Syndicate is going to try and combine my two passions, really. I really enjoy trying to impart some knowledge into racing Twitter sphere, and I really am very passionate about my coaching of horses and riders. So the idea is that in June this year, I will buy a horse, 3-year-old horse, so born in 2000, off the flat in the Czech Republic, where it would have raced a handful of times. And the Czech flat scene is fairly small. It's fairly competitive. They hold their own if they venture into France or Germany, as they often do. But they tend to be horses with fairly stout pedigrees. Now, often they'll be racing over a mile, and you would look and think that their pedigree might suggest they want a mile and a half. Some of the pedigrees are fairly German influence, which tends to be a stamina source. But like I said, they'll have raced on the flat a handful of times. I will look to buy a suitable type of horse in the June, with a view to racing in the UK as a 4-year-old in the 2014 calendar year, specifically over fences. I think the 4-year-old weight allowance over fences is a fairly unexplored avenue, and I think that's for a couple of reasons. I think there's a belief, either correctly or incorrectly, that horses off the flat don't take to jumping all that well. It's not particularly a belief I hold, and I think the advantage I have is that I'm a one-horse person, so I can put plenty of time in, and my team in the Czech Republic can put plenty of time in to teaching a horse how to use its feet, how to adjust its balance and its weight, and develop a really sound jumping technique. And with all things, if you've got some competence, that's where you develop your confidence from. So that will be the aim with the horse, is to have the horse jumping beautifully before it leaves the Czech Republic and comes to the UK. So it'll be bought in the June with myself and my team in the Czech Republic. It'll undergo a full retraining program, lots of pole work, lots of physio, lots of dentistry. And this is where the education part comes in. All of that will be documented and sent to you. Interviews with the farrier, interviews with the dentist, interviews with the physio, regular updates as to what work they've done, why they've done it, and how they think that's going to improve, and whether they can see the improvement from their previous appointment. Alongside that, Nicole, who is the senior rider at the yard I work with in the Czech Republic, will do regular weekly updates and videos showing the work that's been done, giving her feedback how she thinks the horse is coming along. And then I'm in the Czech Republic twice a month for 4 days at a time, and I'll use a GoPro and video to document the work I do with the horse, and why we're doing what we're doing, and how that's going to benefit the horse going forward in terms of learning to jump. We'll be looking to improve the horse physically, making some strength over its back, and all that sort of thing. So hopefully by the time your horse is leaving the Czech Republic, you have a really good understanding as to exactly what goes into creating the athlete. The horse will then leave the Czech Republic late November, early December, and head to Richard Hobson's yard in Gloucester, Richard is a trainer I've got huge admiration for. I see a few bits of his on social media. I'm also sent a few videos from owners that he has, and it always strikes me that his horses look absolutely immaculate, as does his yard, and that's something I think is really important. They always look physically strong, they always look very healthy, and Richard has had great success with 4-year-old chasers, family business, cheap name, Caprice d'Anne, all horses that Richard has won over 4-year-old over fences in the UK. So he seemed to me to be the ideal man to take this project forward. In terms of cost and size of syndicate, I'm going to aim to make it as affordable as I possibly can. So there will be 11 shares of 8%. I will hold the remaining 12 share of 12%. And those initial shares will cost somewhere between £650 and £850, depending on the price I pay for the selected horse. Monthly payments will be £135, and that will include in October, on the 7th and 8th of October, is the Czech Velka Pardubice, their sort of Grand National, a really interesting race. They race across plough. It's a race like no other, and that monthly price will include free access to that race course, that race, and we'll also have a guided tour. A chap who's trained a number of winners in the Czech classic races. Alongside that, obviously, you'll be able to see the horse that we've bought in-person training on the Saturday and the Sunday at the pre-training yard. When the horse is in the UK, Richard offers a very open policy in terms of viewing the horse. As long as we offer some notice, that horse will be there for you to view as if you were a sole owner. I think that's really, really important. So many syndicates put on syndicate days. This will be a bit different. You'll have access to Richard and access to the horse. Our jockey will wear a GoPro camera when working the horse a couple of times a week when schooling, and that will all be made available for you, so that you should feel like you're getting a very inclusive experience. If you've got any questions, any queries, if you're interested, drop me an email on my email address, rossjmillar@me.com. I will put that in the description below. And at the moment, all we're looking for is initial interest. What will happen is, once the horse is bought and vetted, the purchase price and the vet's report and photos and videos of the horse will be sent to your email all at the same time, and then it will simply be offered on a first-come, first-served basis. The first 11 people to put themselves forward, pay their purchase price, will get a share in all the allowances syndicate going forward. I hope that's pretty transparent. I hope it explains what I'm trying to do, and I hope it appeals to you, because I really do want to make this educational, involving, and hopefully successful. At the end of the day, this is an experiment. This is my belief that 4-year-old horses off the flat can jump fences. There's no reason why they shouldn't, and I'm going to put my money and maybe yours where my mouth is, and hopefully we'll have fun along the way and try and grab a winner at some point in the 2024 season. Thanks for listening. As I said, any questions, any queries, drop me a line and I'll do my best to answer them for you.